2016 was a much different time than 2020. See, back then, we didn't have all the political drama dividing the country. God, that's when the whole Trump thing started, wasn't it? Well, at least there wasn't crazy viruses that scared everyone senseless and affected millions of, crap, Zika virus. Well, people weren't being shot unnecessarily for, simply being who they were. Damn, the Orlando thing happened then. Well, one positive that came out was MTG released its 72nd set in Kaladesh. And with the remaster version hitting Arena this week, I figure we do a time travel back, take a look at some of the most impactful removal combat tricks offered in this limited environment to get you ready for the set drop. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Kaladesh Remastered Limited Cheat Sheet. If you are not familiar with the format I take on this, it's nothing too crazy. I've done it for the past couple sets, and doing it again for the Kaladesh expansion. Don't know how much we're going to play it, but figured you all may like something like this. So, like the text says, this is a guide that's purpose is to give just an overview of removal, combat tricks, and other things we may come across in Kaladesh Remastered Limited. We know as limited players, this is one of the most important things to be aware of, and if you don't know what opponents can be holding up or what they could be bluffing, could lead to some awkward situations during gameplay. This is not a power ranking. This is not an archetype guide. This is not a card-by-card assessment going over the entire set. If you want those, hit up LR, hit up Lords of Limited, Nisa Hone, just to name a few. Awesome dudes who cover it extensively. This is just a quick hit, know what you're doing for day one. So, going into the colors, we have White's Removal, which looks pretty decent, actually. We got a Sweeper and Fumigate, destroy all creatures, gain 1 life equal to each creature destroyed this way. Impeccable Timing, deals 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. So, we've seen this before. Revoke Privileges, enchanted creature can't attack, block, or crew vehicles. So, our pacifism effect for this, eerily similar name to the banned card, which we cannot mention. Sky Whale Shot, destroy target creature power 3 or greater, scry 1. So, you usually see that with the 4 or greater restriction, and that extra scry could be in handy, so not a bad, right? Thopter's Arrest, similar to like a Banishing Light. When it ETBs, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. And our creature pseudo exile is Fairgrounds Warden. When it ETBs, exile target creature and opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. So, solid overall, sweet for white removal. Combat tricks, we have 2 1-mana tricks, which is always nice for those aggro decks looking to hold up that 1 mana. Ally Evasion, the first one. Modal card, choose 1, target creature you control gets +1/+2 until end of turn, or return target creature you control to its owner's hand. White-blue, I know, has some cool things that want to be blink, so this could be something going on there. Gain save your creature from removal spell. Give it a little buff to survive combat. Not bad. Built to last, 1 white mana, target creature gets +2/+2 to end of turn. If it's an artifact creature, it gets indestructible until end of turn. So, nice way to save your artifact creatures, any vehicles you may have. Inspired Charge, I think this card is going to play a very important role in those go wide servo decks, so be aware on this. Instant speed, creatures you control get +2/+1. So, opponents make it a big attack. They have a 4 mana. If it's close to lethal, be aware of that. Moving into blue, like we always say, it's blue's removal. I mean, the best attempt at it, and counter spells for this. So, Ceremonious Rejection, 1 blue, counter target color spell. Don't anticipate seeing this much in the limited environment. Confiscation Coup, sorcery speed, choose target artifact creature. You get 4 energy counters. Return to energy. Those of you not familiar, cards you play give you energy counters. Different effects require X amount of energy. So, typically, the decks you're playing, Teamer colors, white has some, black has some, but primarily folks in Teamer's color are going to care about this Energy Matters theme. So you get 4 energy counters, then you may pay an amount of energy equal to the permanent's converted mana cost if you do gain control of it. So a nice way to commandeer an opponent's creature or artifact. Disallow, hard counter for spells, activated abilities, and triggered abilities. Revolutionary Rebuff, kind of a quench effect to counter target non-artifact spell unless its controller pays 2. So next up we have Metallic Rebuke. Improvise, this is when artifacts help you pay for your spells. So if you have 1 artifact out, this costs 1 and a blue. 2 artifacts out, this costs simply a blue. and his counter target spell unless his controller pays 3. Not too shabby. Over Ice, enchant artifact or creature, enchanted permanent doesn't untap during its controller untap step. So if you have something that you need to hold down, this is good. Just remember that if they do untap it another way, they get to untap it another way. Malfunction, enchant artifact or creature when it ETBs tap target permanent. Enchanted permanent doesn't untap during its controller, just untap step. So we've seen these effects in blue before. Not the most exciting, especially with Blink ability to get blown out. Not the greatest, but in terms of blue, that is the removal, combat tricks, and tempo. So we have Ether Meltdown, 1 in a blue, Flash, enchanted creature or vehicle. ETBs get 2 energy. Enchanted permanent gets -4/-0. So that energy tax is just tacked on there. Give you a little bit of upside for playing a aura. But like I said, slow stuff down and could put a nice little handicap on a big creature. Either work trade wins, 2 in a blue, return target permanent you control and target permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. Again, this is permanent, so thinking like run away from Eldraine, except it's can target any permanent. So not too bad, you probably do some cute things with it. Next up, Barrel's Expertise. 3 blue, return up to 3 target artifacts and or creatures to their owner's hands. You may cast a spell with converted mana cost 4 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So there's a cycle of these sorcery expertise, 1 each color, that allow you to play a card from your hand with converted mana cost either 4 or 3, depending on the card. So nice value here. Again, huge tempo swing, and then if you're able to cast something out of your hand, very good deal. Leave in the Dust, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, draw a card. Again, this is like a Blink variant, except you don't have that modal. Serviceable, nothing you're going to get excited about. And select for inspection, return target tapped creature to its owner's hand. So perhaps if you're swinging in, you get unfavorable blocks, then they pump or something crazy, you can use this to help save your creature, get you back some of those ETB effects. Or if you're getting beat down and you need to bounce something back to survive, gets the job done. Moving into black, we have Daring Demolition, destroy target vehicle or creature. 2 black, so we've seen this right before. Double black pip, don't know how crazy it's going to be at that 4 mana slot. It should fit into any black X deck just fine. Die Young is 1 in a black, choose target creature. You get 2 energy counters, and you may pay energy, any amount of energy. The creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each energy paid this way. So picks off the early creature in the early game, picks off a bigger thing in the later games if you can stockpile some energy. So I'd be looking to see a bunch of these going around, and just be aware if your opponent's playing black, has a stockpile energy, your creatures may be dying soon. Essence Extraction deals 3 damage to target creature, you gain 3 life. So this can't go to face, this is interesting, but pick off a creature with 3 toughness and gaining 3 life to help you stabilize, not bad. The modern staple in Fatal Push, destroy target creature as converted mana cost 2 or less, and Revolt, destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less, and the Revolt text is instead if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. So engineer a situation where you trade off a creature and get a pop a bigger creature on their end, but that's the Revolt mechanic for you. Noxious Gearhulk is a force to be reckoned with, a 5/4 menace, 4 colorless, 2 black. When ETBs, you may destroy another target creature. If creature you destroy this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. Can't ask for much more. Yanni's Expertise, 2 black, all creatures get -3/-3 to end of turn. You may cast a spell with converted mana cost 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Moving into black's combat tricks, make obsolete. 2 and a black, creatures your opponent control get -1/-1 to end of turn, and this is instant speed, so a nice little combat trick. Could end up wiping the board if you're versing any of those Servo or Thopter decks. Seems pretty solid. Rush of Vitality. Target creature is +1/+0 and gains a lifelink and indestructible to end a turn. I think we've seen something like this in Ikoria. You'll play it. Nothing too crazy, but if you're able to save your creature, gain some life, not terrible. Subtle Strike we have in Zendikar, so should be familiar with that. Choose one or both. Target creature is -1/-1 to end a turn, and put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Moving into red, removal looks strong. Chandra's Firelinks, 1 in a red, deals 2 damage, divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. So again, this can go to player's face, this can hit creatures, it can hit multiple creatures, seems good. Chandra's Revelation, 3 in a red, Chandra's Revelation deals 4 damage to target creature, tap target land, that land doesn't untap during its control since tap step. So your popping one of their better creatures and denying them access to 1 mana could be very, very impressive. So don't sleep on that. Fateful Showdown. 2 red, Fateful Showdown deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. Discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. So one of red's weird ways to draw cards and deal damage. It's fine. I don't know too many shenanigans you're going to be pulling with it, but if you need to pick off something and you have a bunch of mountains sitting in your hand, seems like a nice way to do it. Furious Reprisal. 3 and a red, deals 2 damage to up to 2 targets. So again, this can pop creatures, this can go to face. Seems very strong there for a red. Harness Lightning. Choose target creature, you get 3 energy. Then you have any amount of energy. Harness Lightning deals that much damage to target creature. So again, you can pop little creatures, save some of the energy. You can stockpile energy to pop a bigger creature. Very versatile card and going to be pivotal in those teamer energy decks. Hungry Flames, 2 and a red, deals 3 damage to target creature and 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. So again, being able to divide this set amount of damage, a little bit different than the other spells we saw, but still think it is going to be very good. Indomitable Creativity, X red, destroy X target artifacts or creatures for each permanent destroy this way. Its controller reveals cards to the top of their library until an artifact or creature is revealed and exiles those cards. Those players put those exile cards onto the battlefield and shuffle their libraries. So in a weird world where you have to pop something crazy on your opponent's side and you don't mind, like it's probably no way that there is a better card in their deck to flip over from Indomitable Creativity. Seems like a serviceable way to get that out the way. Otherwise, this is mostly like construction nonsense when you're popping your token and getting like a crazy Eldrazi or something. So just be aware of it. Welding Spark deals X damage to target creature, where X is 3 plus the number of artifacts you control. So scales nicely in those artifact decks. Combat Tricks in red. We have 2 1-mana spells again. Very cool. Built to smash. Target creature gets +3/+2 to end of turn. If it's an artifact creature, it gains trample until end of turn. So red's Giant Growth seems strong, and its ability to push over damage in the later game seems like it will be a welcome include for many red decks. Invigorated Rampage. 1 in a red, choose 1. Target creature gets +4/+0, gains trample until end of turn, or 2 target creatures get +2/+0 and gain trample to end of turn. Nice way to finish off a game. Be aware of this. That trample clause is going to be relevant. Do not get got by that. Precise Strike. Target creature is +1/+0 and gains first strike till end of turn. Serviceable, not the most exciting, probably not the combat trick of choice, but first strike is relevant. Moving on to green. Removal for green, typically in the fight spells, and it is not changed in Kaladesh. Hunt the Weak, 3 and a green, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, then that creature fights target creature you don't control. So we've seen this before. Your ability to fight a creature and pump one of your creatures is good. Anticipate seeing a lot of this card in the limited format. Monstrous Onslaught, 3 green, deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control as you cast this spell. So you get one of your big dumb green monsters out, then you can divvy up its power, pop off a bunch of little creatures on your opponent's side, or get something big. Seems decent. Next up, 1 in a green, Nature's Way. Target creature you control gains vigilance and trample to end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So a nice little bite effect and granting your creature vigilance and trample. Seems very solid. Premier green removal for sure. Combat tricks, we're getting to see Blossoming Defense. 1 green, target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains hexproof to end of turn. Ability to pump your creature and give it hexproof is a solid deal, so be aware of that. Next up we have Heroic Intervention. 1 in a green, permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible to end of turn. You'll play this card in your green decks. You're going to be able to save your creatures, possibly get some favorable trades, and then drop this to save them. So you'll play it, solid card. Next up, High Spire Infusion, 1 in a green. Target creature controls is +3/+3, and you get 2 energies. So again, pumping your creature, giving you some excess energy. Not terrible. If you need a combat trick in those energy decks, this will do the trick. And Ornamental Courage, 1 in a green. Untapped target creature gets +1/+3 until end of turn. So nice way to ambush your creature, attacking you when they think it's clear. Be aware of this. I can see people playing it. Moving on to Multicolored. Dark Intermissions. 2 and Grixis, blue, black, red. Each opponent sacks a creature or planeswalker, then discards a card. You return creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand, then draw a card. When you cast Bolas Planeswalker spell, exile Dark Intermissions from your graveyard, that Planeswalker enters the battlefield with an additional loyalty counter. Knowing the crazy stuff we do, I'm sure there will be a draft when we get past this and rip a Nicol Bolas Planeswalker, so I'm not going to say this bottom text is completely irrelevant, but I'm sure you won't be getting that situation too common in draft. Next up, Engineered Might is a Selesnya gold card, 3 green white. Choose one, target creature is +5/+5 and gains trample to end of turn, or creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance until end of turn. Fine, like I said, if you're in the go wide green deck, it's cool. If you just wheel this card and end up green white, it's fine. Don't think you're going to have to fight over it too much. Hazardous condition is the Golgari gold, 2 black green. Creatures with no counters on them get -2/-2 until end of turn. So if the majority of your creatures can reliably get counters, I think you run this card. A lot of X1s running around with the servos and Thopters. Not a bad include if you're the dedicated counters deck. Wrapping up the multicolored is the Rakdos gold card in Unlicensed Disintegration. 1 black-red, destroy target creature. If you control an artifact, Unlicensed Disintegration deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. So pop their best thing. If you have an artifact, bolt them. Next up is our artifact removal. First one being Consulate Turret. 3 generic mana. Has tap, you get an energy counter. Tap, pay 3, deals 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. So 3 mana artifact that generates energy. Don't know how good that's going to be. If you have excess energy and no way to deal with creatures, could be a thing. Also can go to player's face, so keep that in mind. Fireforge Puzzle Knot, 2 generic mana. When Fireforge Puzzle Knot enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target. 2 colors and a red sack that deals 1 damage to any target. So I think this is a cheap quote-unquote artifact that can ping off a X1, and then later on you cash it in to deal 1 more damage. Don't know how relevant it's going to be, but we figure we include it. And Universal Solvent, we've seen this card before. 1 generic mana, 7 tap, sacrifice Universal Solvent, destroy target permanent. So again, having these artifact matter decks could be a interesting include in those builds. Hope this information is helpful. Again, I'm going to put a link to the actual PDF file. If you haven't done so already, head over to the Twitch, IG, Twitter, yada yada, whatever you're finding this on, and hit that file, hit that sub button. Really lets me know that this is relevant. Best of luck in the Kaladesh Remastered set, and hopefully see you at the table. Take care, be safe, until next time.